How many times have you sat across from someone, your jaw clenched, your stomach in knots, and heard yourself whisper, "I'm fine, don't worry about it"? How many times have you swallowed an opinion, abandoned a deep-seated need, or physically shrunk your presence just to fit into the comfort zone of someone else? We live in a world that praises this behavior. Society calls it flexibility. It calls it maturity, consideration, or being easygoing. But if we peel back the layers of that pleasant exterior, we find a much darker reality. It is not kindness. It is self-abandonment. It is a quiet, constant betrayal of who you are, executed so habitually that you have likely stopped noticing the pain it causes. The renowned psychotherapist Pete Walker spent decades working with highly functional people. On the surface, they had it all together. They held respectable jobs, maintained long-term relationships, and appeared well-adjusted. Yet underneath that polished veneer, they shared a chronic, bone-deep exhaustion. They were entirely drained from performing a version of themselves that was fundamentally engineered to manage everyone else's reactions, while slowly, methodically erasing their own. This exhausting pattern is not an innate personality trait. You are not born with a genetic predisposition to disappear. Self-abandonment is a learned survival mechanism. In households where love is conditional, affection is treated as a reward for good performance and is abruptly withdrawn the moment you show friction. As children, we figure out the equation rapidly. Who I actually am is the problem. Who they need me to be is the solution. Even without overt cruelty, emotional neglect teaches the same devastating lesson. When a child's tears are met with irritation or their excitement is received with cold indifference, the child does not conclude that the adults are broken. They conclude that their own needs are too heavy, that wanting things is an intrusive burden. In unpredictable, volatile environments, children become hypervigilant. They learn to scan the room, read the shifting tones, and calibrate their behavior in real time. The goal is no longer connection. The goal is safety. And the most reliable way to stay safe is to fade into the background. This survival strategy relies heavily on a deeply misunderstood trauma response: fawning. While we are all familiar with fight, flight, and freeze, fawning is the sophisticated art of deep compliance. The child reasons that if they can become exactly what the other person needs, they cannot be hurt. They become hyper-attuned experts on other people's emotional states. The tragedy is the exorbitant cost of this psychological armor. To stay safe, the child must intercept and destroy their own interior signals before they can even surface. The real horror of this mechanism is that it doesn't deactivate when the childhood danger is gone. The nervous system does not automatically recognize that the volatile parent has been replaced by a safe partner, a reasonable boss, or a well-meaning friend. Instead, the calcified pattern automates. By adulthood, you no longer need an external oppressor to make you shrink. You have inherited the role of the abandoner. You preemptively reject your own needs before anyone else can, mistaking this trauma response for your actual personality. Adult self-abandonment masquerades as being a reasonable, low-maintenance person who never causes problems. It takes the shape of compulsive appeasement, where you say yes when your entire soul is screaming no. It looks like authenticity suppression, where you edit your reactions so heavily that the distance between your performed self and your real self becomes a yawning chasm. You neglect your body, treat your physical form like a machine to be driven to exhaustion, and tolerate toxic dynamics because walking away feels like a moral failure. You tell yourself you are sacrificing for others, but you are actually sacrificing yourself.